Hey there, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are in this world. I wanted to, hold on. I wanted to kick off this day. Let me just shut down my Skype. I wanted to kick off and actually talk about a big problem that one of the wellness practitioners came to us with. She had a very distinct issue that many of you are struggling with as well. And this issue was that she was getting people to her discovery calls, but she wasn't converting. And so I want to break down what this amazing woman did and how we helped her. There she actually is. In just a minute, because I think before we take a look at this powerhouse hormone coach, wellness practitioner, is that I want to talk about actually the differences between those who are successful and those who are not. Because I know even for myself, I can get really caught up in social media. I can get really caught up in needing the perfect grid, really caught up in just a lot of the different strategies that we all hear from every different guru in the health industry, out of the health industry. And it's really difficult when we are starting our business to know actually what we have to do in order to be successful. So I just want to talk about that before I show you this example of a coach that embodies all of this. And I wrote this down so that I make sure I stay on topic. One is, we all hear this, nail down your niche. That is just a portion, a little piece of how extensive it is building your business. And let me explain. You knowing your niche and who you want to serve, that's step one. So I want you to write down right now. I hope, don't even make it fancy, because this is where we all get stuck. Just say your words. And if you're actually having a problem writing them, take your phone, dictate into the notes so that you can listen back. So this amazing woman that I'm going to show you, she specializes in hormones, fertility specifically. She's very clear. She was very clear on her backstory. She's very clear on the hero journey, why she wants to work with women specifically with hormone issues. How did this relate to her experience? And what is that big why that pushes her to say, this was so difficult for me to overcome this issue. That's why I know I need to specialize in it. So it's not just the niche, it's you thinking, is this part of my story? If it's not part of my story, why is this very important? Simon Sinek talks about the why behind our freebies, our workshops, our offers. If we don't know the why, hear me loud and clear. Converting on a discovery call is going to be almost impossible. The same thing goes for if you don't know what you offer in your packages, whether it's different price tiers, whether it's high ticket, low, it doesn't matter. It's going to be also impossible to get someone to a paid conversion. So no, if it's not your own experience and you were inspired by somebody in your life, your parent, friend, etc., write that down, because that's going to be a big part of your story. 2, let go of the fear of niching down. A lot of us talk, I help people with gut so they feel better. It doesn't mean that you have to be like, I help women in between the ages of 40 to 45. You can say, I help women who are struggling with gut issues. Take a moment, instead of just saying 40 to 45, think, for that woman who's 40 to 45, what are some of the biggest problems and obstacles generally for a woman in that stage of her life? Because guess what? 45 to 50 is a little different. And that's why it's important to really understand those demographics and the psychology of your potential buyer. Because if you don't know why she buys, then it's going to be difficult to also create viral content. The third, define those problems. The cool thing about knowing the demographics, or saying, I want to work with really busy A-type, entrepreneurs, women who are struggling with gut issues or struggling with hormone, then you can start to write down a persona profile, thinking, for that woman's a really busy entrepreneur. Where is she getting stuck in her life? She's so brilliant. She's busy. So where do I come in with the content that she needs to see? What are the lives I need to do? Or what need to be the workshops? So don't get scared to really define it. It's not just her hormones are a mess. It's not just words like, oh, she might have estrogen dominance. I want you to get really specific in thinking about the obstacles she has. Where is she looking for information? What misinformation do you need to debunk, demystify? The next is do your market research. Market research does not have to be fancy. It doesn't mean that you need to read Google Analytics. I'm not the greatest at that, but I do have somebody. And you can find a great person to look at your Google Analytics, whether you find somebody on Fiverr or Upwork, and even your social media. Just look. Instagram shows you what is your analytics. Facebook shows you what is your analytics. And if you want to really be an overachiever, because you should be for this business that you're building, so you lessen the failure zone, go into either different groups, grab people who are your friends, people that you know fit that ideal client avatar persona, and ask them 10 to 20 open-ended questions. When you're ask them, what are you struggling with? And then ask them questions like, what stopped you from taking X action? If you were told that you had estrogen dominance, do you even know what that word is? Or can you tell me some of the symptoms that you were having when it came to your hormones? They're going to tell you everything. Hair falling out, hair thinning, low sex drive, bad sleep, acne, face blemishes. Write every one of those down. Those become your talking topics, and it will allow you to get really clear on who you're speaking to, but furthermore, help you to then message properly the content that you buy from us. I know you know that you're brilliant. You can write any of the content we have. The truth is, most people don't have time. And that's why when you see me feature people, these are either brand new coaches starting out, you're having a 9-to-5, or you have kids, or you have your own responsibilities, your own self-care. Life just gets busy. It's taking the content that we have and then messaging it specifically to your ideal client. And that only takes the empathy part. You're going to get people on a call, record it, listen to it. You can do that on Zoom. Under 40 minutes is free. You can meet somebody, of course, on the phone call, ask if you can record the phone call, or just take very detailed notes. Then write down 20 places that you can reach out to. This is business 101. We hear this a lot in network marketing, but the truth is, guys, this 3-column approach, which is column 1, column A, I would say if you're doing this on an Excel spreadsheet. Column A is going to be the place, the person's name that I'm contacting, their phone number, and column B is going to be what are you actually pitching to them? And this could be a workshop, a freebie. This could be asking them to, if it would be beneficial for you to write a newsletter, include a freebie. This could also be your own acupuncturist, doctor, chiropractor, health food store, spa, fitness gym, coffee shop, library. These are places in your local network. And for some of you, you're already involved in things like PTA and you're already really active maybe in your community. Even if you can't see people face to face, that's where Zoom comes in or something like StreamYard. So in that column B, you want to write down what does each of these places specialize in and how can you fit, of course, the problems that you solve and what you're pitching to them or what you're offering them so that you can get in front of their audience. And the last is go live. Now, keep in mind those 20 places, guys, that can also be in the online space as well. This can be podcast. This is such a no-brainer, easy way for you to build your visibility. Because I know for some of you, it's really overwhelming to go live. It's really overwhelming to think of doing a workshop. This can, of course, be a podcast. This, of course, can be you just simply getting over the fear and practicing so that when you do show up, you're showing up with the confidence that you need, which leads me to showing you one Canva that I made this morning. Just want to show you so that you have a visual. Give me 1 second. And then I'm going to show you this amazing woman. Okay, give me a second to share. I just want you to see visually how easy it can be if you take the time to just slow down and ask yourself, what problems am I solving? Everything that we just went over in the first 10 minutes is applicable to you at any stage. If you're starting your business from scratch, if you're in a growth stage, we always have to have our finger on the tap of what problems am I solving? Where is my potential client getting their information? So I know what are the words that they are commonly hearing, and also what are some of the mistruths that I really need to identify to not only help educate my client, but most importantly to build trust. You will see right here. This is a very simple way. I always do this again in columns. You can do the same in Excel spreadsheet. I always say problems I solve. If you can't see this, if it's not easy, of course, to see, I will make this into an image and put it in the different groups. But you see right here, I know if I'm looking at my gut business back in the day, Rachel's Wellness, the problems that I solved, these are the freebies that would help me showcase that possible step one transformation. Remember, building trust is nurturing and showing that potential client. This is exactly my signature process. This is why you want to work with me, because I've gone through all this hell. And that's why I carefully put these workshops, these freebies, and most importantly, my paid offers together. So the 5-day gut challenge would allow me, of course, to create that even as an evergreen mini course. 1 video a day. That's 5 videos. That's 5 emails included in the package that we have. And so that would allow me to have a very high converting freebie where I'm teaching people gut. And that's like my base gut one. The 5-day ketogenic is something that I had to do for my autoimmune. It's a big part of my story. It's a big part of my blood sugar story. And so I know I'm highly confident because I've also done market research. And I know that my ideal client also dealt with candida, fungus, all these different autoimmune responses, etc. Let me just close this out. And so that to me makes complete sense. And detoxify your body in 15 minutes, which is a freebie and a workshop that I had, because detox is a big part of my system. Right now, the 5-day gut, I'm going to have a workshop on food intolerances. That one system right there, 5-day gut. Maybe they're going to see I can do the 5-day gut challenge. I could even have the food intolerances as a masterclass. They're all leading to that one offer. I'm going to really talk about the power of seasonal eating, the power of the elimination diet, why it was so pivotal for me with my food allergies and tolerances, and the work of Liz Lipsky and the people that really brought me back to health in the information that, I learned. You see the second, it flows perfectly. 5-day keto. I'm going to talk about autoimmune flares, and I'm going to go into the 30-day gut fix. The same thing is detoxify your body in 15 minutes. This is like my family system, because I want to show that mom that not only can she make this super easy, but I want to talk to her kids about this early intervention in detoxing their body, because I worked with a lot of kids, spectrum, all different, high functioning autism, and I used this program. So when you look at this amazing woman that I'm about to show you, you will see that she is you will see, let me just go into my Instagram first. You will see that she is so completely clear on who she serves and why. Bear with me as I just stop sharing for 1 sec. I want you, before I go on, I want you to actually drop in the comments, where are you having this insane struggle? Do you feel like it's the lack of clarity? Do you feel like it's the lack of knowing what to charge? Do you feel like it's not getting extremely specific in your ideal client avatar journey, and that journey that you need to, of course, educate them on, teach them, show them the mistruths, and make it then a no-brainer for them to say, wow, this person really shows up consistently, helping me to see all these mistruths, all these connections. And so that's what allowed this amazing, I help women, I get women pregnant. I mean, come on, clear as anything. And so I will tell you, when I met this beautiful woman on a discovery call, she was not at a lack of, this is why I have to, help women. It was my painful journey. She was not at a lack of knowing what the problems were. She had the problem that many of you come to us, is that you're brilliant, you're knowledgeable, you're getting people on a discovery call, but they're not converting. So what did she do? We talked about her system, what she wants to teach, why she's different, why is this missing in the world? And she was able to take action. And when I mean take action, that didn't mean sitting there and saying, well, I don't know what I'm going to offer. She was like, I know what I'm about. And what I'm missing is just that program that helps me with the tangibles. The intangibles are coaching. That's the transformation. The tangibles is what you're giving them in the program. Don't think the program will sell itself if you don't know what you're all about. And it doesn't take a lot. It just takes lessening all the trauma, all the need for, I think I need to do this system. I think I need to do this strategy, and saying, I'm going to go all in and I'm going to bring people to my one-on-one. We had talked about, what would be the best program that would fit for her. She is a fertility, irregular period cycle coach. You can see this. And we talked about, before she jumped into the fertility women's wellness module that we have, or even the menstruation, why don't we start at step 1? Because this woman's approach, Dr. Vita, this amazing approach, is that she uses botanicals, herbs, tinctures, tonics, a lot of release rituals in her practice. And she knows it's so different from anyone else. But what she needed was the workshops, the freebies, and the tangible offer. So when she had this woman on the phone, she could explain, this is what it's going to be like when we start. This is what you're going to get access to. And we're also going to cover the herbs for fertility and, balancing your period over X amount of time. You will see right here, and we're going to go, of course, to her Facebook. She has a free group. She has a free masterclass. She has 5 steps to detox for fertility. You can see it is all cohesive. Plus, when you're looking at her information, because we're going to go to, just going to show you that it doesn't have to. And this is when I saw it the other day, because I happened to be scrolling and I saw her showing up. You can see me right there that said, preach it, because she did healthy periods as an indicator for overall health. Once she got clear on what she wanted to say, she did show up. And I even had said to her, you are amazing explaining what you do. You just need to get yourself out there and stop doing what everyone else is doing. Stop just, bringing them to your discovery call. Show up with that visibility And for each one of you, I will just say this. It doesn't mean you have to do this on Facebook. You have to do this on Instagram. You have to look at where your ideal client is and make a decision to be extremely consistent there. When we were actually having a messaging yesterday, what she said is, you told me to show up. You told me to actually start becoming visible. And so right here, you'll see that we have consistency. You'll see that she also reached out in co-collaboration to get herself visible in front of somebody else's list. It doesn't take much. And so right here, she's going live. What she did is she bought the 21-day hormone detox. Beautiful lady, beautiful woman. And then she broke down. I said, listen, girl, you know how I talk. I said, listen, girl, you are so goddamn clear. You're so passionate. And I said, I really think what you're missing is that content. Like, you know it here, but it's really difficult for us as healers, wellness practitioners, doctors, chiropractors, past nurses, to take what is in our brain and our heart and to message it to our client. Half the time we'll sit there and we'll feel like a failure because that one social media image maybe didn't explain, or the caption didn't explain to the point that we needed it. I said, get visible. Start doing lives. For those of you who are introverts, be like Sarah Lawrence. That column that I said, 20 people, that's how she and myself build an unbelievable referral network. If you're not taking action and doing what successful coaches do, which is to live in the infinite possibilities, not the finite, don't blame anybody that you're not having success except yourself. Because this woman, once she put that program in place, because she had the confidence, she just was missing that program to bring them to, she started converting a client a week. And the same as you will hear Alchemia on my Healthy Hustle podcast and Rebecca Capps, you're going to hear the same exact story. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't know social media. But I will tell you, if that's not working, or you think that you're doing everything right, if you need to step back and be like, okay, who do I need to reach out locally? Or what podcast can I reach out and pitch to them? You will see in every one of our programs, there are PowerPoints. And that's exactly what Dr. Vita did. She was like, I took the PowerPoints, I wrote down my stories, I wrote down my lives, I used them to help navigate me. And the same thing for freebies. Stop playing small. And I say this because visibility doesn't just get created because we try one strategy. Visibility gets created because we do it consistently, and we are showing up with high value content that solves a specific problem for our ideal client who has a specific set of issues based on their life, their circumstances, their mindset, their past traumas, their past fears, the information that's coming to them from the TV shows they watch or the celebrities they follow. It's understanding what you have to demystify. Don't overcomplicate it. Make sure that you're sitting there, and I will say, in conclusion, mapping out your month. It doesn't have to be as overwhelming. I get overwhelmed doing it too. I'm not a born content planner. Some people have a really easy time doing it. The thing that I did, and maybe this will be extremely helpful, as I sat there and said, stop thinking of yourself, Rach. This is ego. What is your ideal client searching for? What was I searching for in the thick of early intervention with my kids? What was I searching for when I was diagnosed with adrenal fatigue? What was I searching for when it came to probiotics and rashes on my kids? I knew that my ideal client was very similar to the experience. It was very similar to that of me. It didn't mean that Didn't mean that everything that I put out there was about my story, but I had a really easy time stepping into her shoes, his shoes, a family's shoes. I took that time to think about the psychology of my buyer and their fears and their sadness. And, those of you who are heart-based and you feel at such a deep level, don't deny that part. Step into that part. Step into doing what successful coaches do, which is to show up and test to see what your ideal client really is going to have the most engagement with. Sit there and make sure that you're being consistent. Think, what is the theme that I want to talk about this week? That means if you have a program like the 21-day detox, hormone detox, you can take one workshop. You can talk about that for an entire week and lead people to a live that you're doing Friday at 12 or Friday at 9. The next week, you can do follow-up live Q&A. Have people, hey guys, for those of you in my group, I put this in a PDF because every PowerPoint can be converted to a PDF, or maybe you're going to drop the next week a freebie. What story do you have to tell them to build trust, to lead them to a discovery call that actually converts, an email list where you actually have a paid offer that solves that specific problem? And then you go back into your Dropbox and say, is there a blog that I can actually do as a live, or how can I convert this into a newsletter so that I can pitch to the chiropractor's office, which I go to, and say, hey, can I do a newsletter takeover? You can take the same PowerPoint and guess what? You can shoot a little pre-recorded 10-minute overview and lead people back to your website on your free tool page, which has that masterclass, or like you saw, the smart ass Dr. Vati, smart in a good way. Dr. Vita, sorry, she has her link tree right there. Don't overcomplicate the process. It's a lot of moving parts, trust me. But I would say, to conclude this, write down, if you need to do it visually, do it in Post-it notes. What are you going to talk about each day? Where are you leading them? And then practice that discovery call. A discovery call is important if it's leading to a one-on-one, high ticket, retreats, mastermind intensives, groups. One thing that I learned back in the day, and this is very old school, is one conversation can change somebody's life because they convert to the paid offer. And so when you take that time to get people on the phone, that is going old school. People are so used to automation. Be different. This is about connection. This is about getting people to know that rolling with you is going to be life-changing. And that's why I wanted to show Dr. Vita, because when somebody says, I've had so many people on a discovery call and they're not converting, it's not about changing the entire strategy. It's about looking, where do we need to fix the holes? So please drop below any specific questions. Please come into our free group. I am going to be doing some hot seats. We're going to have some fun. We're going to get people onto Zoom calls, because a lot of people are asking, what should I do with this program? What should I buy? And I know a lot of you have questions on how to even use our content. I want to make myself available. And I want to show you that it doesn't have to be overwhelming. And I say this as being a person who has massive anxiety. Many of you, don't know I was diagnosed with depression when I was very young. And you see me show up in all these places. It's not because this is easy for me. Similar to Dr. Vita, when she and I talked, my why is so big because I hate seeing people in pain. And many of you have that same drive. So remember, when it gets like scary or you feel uncomfortable doing something, you have two options. Let's just keep it simple, like what they say at Landmark. When they give an example, it's either chocolate or vanilla. It's either that you show up or you live in your excuses. It's either that you show up and drop the fear that it's not going to be perfect. It's either that you show up and you pitch to people locally, those 20 people, that list should also continue to grow, or that you are pitching to 20 podcasts. It's not difficult to take a 2-hour block once a week and commit and say, I'm going to reach out to these people. You're not going to know what is the perfect thing to say. Screw those goddamn scripts. They're helpful, but guess what? Tap into soul, tap into intuition. Intuition and fear cannot live on the same bridge. Faith has to be on that bridge, that you know that you were meant to go through this and that you are going to provide the best content, because like you came to help people, and that's it. And so make the choice. The choice is yours. Drop under here, hold yourself accountable. If you say, I'm going to show up despite myself. If you're an extrovert, go all in. If you're an introvert, find the ways that you can have those existing relationships that you already know so you're comfortable, and then build up that confidence. That's what I had to do. I'm an extroverted introvert. So with that being said, I will see you guys later. Have an amazing day. Peace out. And thanks, Dr. Vita. I really appreciate you saying that I could show your fabulousness. Follow her. Make sure she has a video on her Instagram that is hella funny, and it's so true. And she is such an example of doing it with soul, intention, and purpose. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure. I will see you guys later.